Gonzalo está en la foto luego para los inversores, para...
¡Hola! ¡Ay, qué alegría verte!
¿Ya está?
So happy to see you. Hello. From the Mobile World Congress, I am Carlos Marin. I am in charge of business product management, and we are going to talk about how the tourism is renovating, and we have a company which is Leda Urban Guaira, and I wanted to introduce you, Andres. So what is Urban doing in such a complicated world as tourism? Well, thank you very much for inviting us to this international forum. Good afternoon, good morning, or depending on where you are. I'm going to talk about our experience with Telefónica. What is Urban? It is a startup specialized in establishing relationships with users, for example, city councils with citizens, guests with hotels. Before pandemic, we gave interactive screens for them with very shocking screens and with very interesting apps. But after the pandemic, we are changing the process, and we have keywords that you can find anywhere in a city, in the room of a hotel or in a window shop, in order to make sure that this interaction, this relationship happens. And I have to say that the results have been very successful. So can you give us more details about what you're doing for your customers and how the digital transformation is going to market? Well, a lot of our company changed when lockdown started, and contactless started being a priority, and we doing these touchless screens, it was a problem. So we started rethinking everything, and we realized that instead of screens, we could use interactive QRs. And the hospitality sector, being a safe destination, is a must. Expedia says that 8 out of 10 were interested in hotels that were offering COVID-free rooms and spaces. So we started with Sirken, June 2020. Sirken is the first hotel chain that wanted to open the hotels, reopen the hotels. Normally, hotels were still closed back then, but Sirtek decided to open their premises. So we need to digitalize everything in our hotels because we want to open. Can we do that? And then we met with Telefónica with a team of 20 people, and we had two main challenges. First of all, for the users, because customers were used to having leaflets in the room. And first of all, the users, changing the mindset of users, because they were used to leaflets and to a lot of paper documents. And also, there were some cuts in the number of staff, so we couldn't give more tasks to the workers of the hotel. So we offered these keywords that we started in these hotels because people are used to these, to paper. And after 1 year, we have very interesting results. First of all, the paper saving. So we have saved the hotels, I would say, than 150 euros per month. because it's not only printing the letters, it is in Cirken chain, the hotels give you a paper, offered you a paper that said the restrictions of the destination point, and you need to manage the design, you have to print it, and then it has been optimized, changing in real time. So the second point was the automatization of the staff, and we are talking about data of INE, and the people who worked in hospitality sector, October 2019, October 2020. So 60% less staff in order to do the same tasks that they were doing. And there are some directors who had to do the room service themselves, and there were a lot of people on furlough, so we needed some automatization. And the third point, which was also very important, the increase of the red part of the consumption, it increased 12%. So you cannot get out of the hotel, so you stay in the hotel, right? And we had some captive, or so to say, or self-isolated people living in the hotels. But if you have, beautiful pictures in all the things that you offer in the hotel, then everything is better for the users, for the guests, despite the fact that they are in self-isolation. And we started digitalizing because we were scared of being infected with COVID, but we had a lot of things, an increase in the consumption of the users. So they started using more the things inside the hotel, right? And they started purchasing more things. And we have hotels like, for example, Otusa, Soha, and others that have used this service. They couldn't offer a lunch, but they could offer dinner, right? And because, there was a curfew and they couldn't get out to have dinner, so they had to stay, so they focused on dinners. And it can start being a scary thing because we wanted to prevent infections, but it resulted in being something very, very beneficial. And we saw this also in tourism operators, but there was local tourism. There were local tourists. And with Telefónica, we've been working on all these. And also the digitalization of small towns up to 50,000 inhabitants, citizens. So, and in Spain we have many towns with this size. So the operators were staying at home, working from home, and before we had very interesting screens, but now we have QR codes that are more affordable because migrating into a QR gives you three main advantages. First of all, low cost, and then it is scalable and you can grow and all users can use it, and we can change the screen of an external totem, and we use the screen in your smartphone. And then finally, we know what people want because we have statistics. Before, if you give a map to a person, you don't know what they're doing or where are they going. But if we have some statistics, depending on the language, depending on the gender, depending on the age, we have very valuable information. And QR, in our case, has been an important window because there was a barrier with applications. And who's going to download the application? You spend your summers in Gandia. If you go to Gandia, you are not going to download the application of Gandia, right? So we realized that it was very easy just to put a QR code in a park, in a tour operator, in a tourist office, and you will have all the information. It's like a TripAdvisor for the small towns. And this is one of the most important cases. And we can breathe in again, and we can still using the screens again with tourist offices, and we use some interactive shop windows, and now if we boost the week of 4 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, who is going to give you their services. So it's like helping, right? And also we wanted to underline another project that we are going to boost from October on with this strategy of smart tourism with iUrban, making the most of the telephone booths. And to us, you all know what's a phone booth. Well, maybe the youngest children don't know what's a phone booth, but everybody wants to go to a city and a public space and put your screens and your information, but you need permits and civil works and costs. And we have an amazing tool, the telephone booths. They are plugged, they have the telephone channel, they have internet access, and they can be information points. So it's a digital transformation of the phone boxes. Yes, with the phone booths, sorry. Instead of using them to make a phone call, you can use it to know what's surrounding you. And for larger cities, you have all the information at hand, but in small towns, Google and TripAdvisor don't get there. So what can we go and see? What can we visit here? So we mixed tourism and commerce, the dynamization, right? So in many municipalities, we had local tourism, but local tourism maybe go 30, 40 kilometers, and then they want to eat to a typical restaurant or buy some craftsmanship. And if they are not in these destinations, then they are going to die, these shops. And the GDP in tourism has been reduced to 80%, and they were doomed. So with this QR code, we link gastronomy with local commerce and tourism. We integrate everything. So this was the idea. And now the ministry, Redpoint ES, is launching these smart destinations, having an impact on tourists, and knowing the user, the hyper-personalization. So it's not only changing the language, but also interested in your family. If you have children, what's your age? So in the end, is for this trip, you can personalize your experience. So in the destination, you get the information, and then you make the most of it. So it's like a big leap, right? Because of the pandemic, this has boosted the hotels and city councils to change the way they work, right? And where do you think this is going? Well, digitalizing, because we were scared of COVID, has given us a lot of good impacts. And I think that digitalizing is very important. And sometimes clients have a great expectation. They want to integrate everything, but they never start. So maybe they have to be optimistic, but start little by little. It's like a ladder, right? Step by step. It's like when you start going to the gym, you don't get results, big results in the beginning. So it is important to start little by little when you go digital. And the QR should be integrated in the database. And sometimes we have to do it in a progressive way. And if we see that it works and the digitalization is giving you return, and there are some hotels that want to have this PMS. So I want this software to open doors for me. Yeah, that's amazing, but you know, you have to start from the beginning, right? So the hotels don't have information because everything is in paper, and I think it's something to survive. So going digital is surviving. We compete at global level, and what do hotels have? The location of a shop, for example, and you can offer different services. You are not Zara shop, but you can dynamize your point of sale, and you can collect all the data so that you can send newsletters and create a loyal customer. So where you want to go now? We need to improve our English, but it's not only this. We are international thanks to our customers, thanks to our TUSA chain. And we are going to do a third round of investment to go international and bring it to more models because it has worked very well and it's so scalable that you can use it in every country. So the ministry have shown this strategy. The hotels are joining this strategy, the restaurants as well. And it is a good example that can be replicated in other countries, in Germany, for example, and Latin America, that wants to go digital as well. So hand in hand with Telefónica, we need to keep on growing. And do you have hopes that the European funds are going to get to tourism and the smart cities with your solutions? And how do you want to channel this? Well, we have the next generation funds from Europe, but we need to start now with a strategy, with a plan, knowing your goals. So what do you want? You want to have the information from the tourist so that you can have a more loyal customer. You want to improve the experience. You want the tourist to visit all the different shops or all the different restaurants, and so you have to find a good partner like Telefónica. There are a lot of consulting agencies, but they need to start now because when the money arrives here, it's going to be too late because then you have only 10 days to apply for it, right? So everything has to be already organized so that you have time for the application when the funds arrive. You gave some examples of applications of your services to important hotel chains, but how are you approaching the small hotels? Well, we think that one of the key aspects of the software, of the QR software, is that they can try it. It's free. And if they start seeing a return, they can pay for it. We are talking about 60, 90 euros per month. And then to us, it is key that before having a service, they need to try it. This is the key of innovation, of technology, and we give the opportunity so that anyone, any sizes, and sometimes the small hotels give us more feedback because they share the real problems they have. I opened a terrace and I don't have a staff at the top, so I need the same. I need just one. I have only one waiter to give service to all the building, and also about the internal services of the hotel, the workflows, Has it been an important change for the staff in the hotel, these apps? Yeah, because, for example, in the restaurants, when we go to the room service and it is the same menu and you ask for hot dog, there is no hot dog. You ask for the hamburger, there is no hamburger. So now you can activate or deactivate the plates that are available. It can be updated, right? And if you facilitate things, then it's going to be easier for everybody, right? And now we use the smartphone for everything. Apart from what you can find in TripAdvisor or in Google, the recommendations of the hotel are also important, right? So here you can have the restaurant, and these are the restaurant. I would personally go there. So we want this experience and personalized experience because we need to take into account that the staff in hotels has been reduced in 60%, as we saw. And also changing the strategy, more focused on hardware, now more focused on software. So how do you think you can recommend the companies and risking, and how did you accept it? How did you see it coming? Well, when they started canceling this because it was not a priority, we saw that we only had 6 months to survive, and then we had to change things. Clients didn't want to invest. They were talking to the suppliers, and we had to contribute with an added value. We had to convince them you are going to save money, 150 euros per month, going paperless, and also offering other types of services. And we had to convince them to try it. Cirque, they tried it for 2 months. And they said, yes, yes, we are keeping it. All the hotel got used to it. So it has to be user-friendly, the software. And sometimes we ask other people to try them because it has to be very user-friendly, very easy to use, and easy to try because the hardware is giving us a lot of volume. It's like a Troy horse with a screen, and then you only have to do the maintenance. But the software is also very valuable, and it's very easy to scan a QR code. Nobody was checking the menu in digital format before, and now everybody has the menu in digital format. This is another barrier that was overcame, and we don't need to make a publication in an app. You can use a web app and change it in real time. For example, the Wellington beef is 25 euros. Nobody's buying it, so we are going to offer it at 20 euros, and then you increase the sales. For example, the gin tonic. Take our mini gin tonic if the day has been very hard, and there are a lot of examples of success. People get to the hotel, they want to rest normally, so we help guests. And if a startup wants to do it, then it's even easier. And I would recommend them to offer a free trial to the users. It's very interesting, and we are very lucky to have you here, and because you've moved from hardware to software in these changing times, and this way you have survived, and in order to adapt to the needs of the customer. So thank you very much. We are so happy to have you in the Wire family, and we will be very happy to accompany you in your next step. Thank you very much. And in startups, we like very much the Telefónica, the wire investment, and there are a lot of startups that can get in here. They can invest a lot, and this is what we did, for example, in Sirken. But then Telefónica has given us so many things, and it's very presumptuous thinking that you are going to do everything on your own. In our case, Telefónica has always given support. Yeah, Telefónica is a very powerful tool. And I think that's how we achieve a lot of things. So the next step is going to be get closer to the hotels and the citizens, and I think that next year is going to offer you a lot of successes, very good perspectives, and we already doubled the turnover during pandemic, during these uncertain times, and we want to keep on growing, and we know that tourism and the vaccination is helping us opening the borders and normalizing everything. We have a lot of hotels opening up, and a lot of money is going to come to Europe, and we need to be wise. And we'll be here so that you can try it. Well, thank you very much. And we hope next year, and we hope you are very successful in the following year. Thank you to everybody. People connected from everywhere. And we hope to see you all soon.